Narcissistically abusive personalities look at all relationships as a zero-sum game, which means that there is only one winner, therefore there has to be a loser. There is no fairness, there is no equality, there is no mutual gain. There is simply a winner and a loser, a zero-sum game. What's interesting about this zero-sum game that narcissistically abusive people play in all of their relationships is that they have strategically come up with a way through just one strategy, broken up in a couple different parts. But this one strategy allows them multiple ways of winning. Now, I'm going to share with you what this narcissistic strategy is so that you can understand why it is they win, at least in their own minds, that is. Now, I'm not sharing this with you so that you can learn how to play with narcissistically abusive people. That's not the point of this. Let the idiots go out there and play in their relationships and drive their life into the ground, which is ultimately inevitable. I'm sharing this with you so the moment you recognize this zero-sum game being played, you can find your nearest exit, because ultimately that's your only victory. Let's get into this. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, before I do continue, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I do take telephone calls as well as video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. So for those of you who are dealing with narcissistic family members right now, or perhaps you're in a marriage with a narcissistic person, or you have narcissistic coworkers, and you find yourself in this place where you're playing this game, but it looks like whatever move you make, you're going to lose. There's a reason you feel this way. Stop playing, head on down there, contact me instead, so we can get you out of the game. In addition to that, I do have a coaching program. My coaching program is live and in person each and every day. It's not pre-recorded videos that I send to you. It's not pre-written material that I want you to read on your own time. It is me spending my time with you each and every day in a group setting where you can ask the questions that you want to ask. We are working out of a diary and a journal so that you can map out and start to plan your 2024, break the chains in your life, and start to live with purpose and with passion and stay out of the stupid narcissistic games. Now, let's get into this. Let's first talk about the strategy that narcissistic people all use. Again, since they believe in only zero-sum games, there's a winner and there's a loser, it makes sense that they've had to strategize their best odds at winning, no matter what. And so here's the strategy that they've come up with. Are you ready? It's quite simple. Make you out to be a bad person and attack you for it. That's it. Demean you, devalue you, insult you, slander you, smear campaign your name, isolate you, hurt you mentally, emotionally, physically. But the key is, if you've noticed, it's intertwined with making you out to be a bad person. So when they devalue you, you deserve it. When they insult you, it's because you deserve it. When they assault you physically, you deserve it. How do they do this? Well, oftentimes they tell you that they're reacting to you. Well, I was responding to something that you said. Basically, if you didn't do that, then I wouldn't do this. This is the beginning stages of their game. So if you're dealing with anybody in your life who starts to come at you this way, well, you did this, so I did that. You better start to realize that you're dealing with somebody who views relationships as a zero-sum game. Now, watch this. This allows them to win in multiple ways. The first way that they can win, by attacking you through demeaning you, devaluing you, calling you names, verbally assaulting you. The first way that they can win is to get you beat down mentally, emotionally, and physically into this place where you're fearful. Okay, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to say that again. Now, you may have not said anything wrong. Perhaps you didn't do anything. Perhaps you just showed up. Perhaps you were just laughing You were just being you. Perhaps you were just expressing some joy. But they attacked you as though you just insulted them. Very common in toxic relationships, by the way. But what happens as they insult you? What happens as they pick you apart? What happens as they start to accuse you and demean you and devalue you? You start to silence yourself. You start to shut down. You start to dim your light, so to speak. That's what walking on eggshells is. You start hiding the pieces of you who you naturally are. Now, obviously, this is a huge win for narcissistically abusive personalities. I mean, they would love nothing more than to beat you down into nothing but a little toy that they can use when they want and then put you right back up on the shelf, where you have no voice, where you're unheard, where you're not seen, where you have no opinion, where you have nothing. They just take you out when they want to use you, and then they shelve you when they're done. That's a win. They get you to keep giving them what they want, supplying their needs, whether it's a family you're dealing with and you continue to go to their parties and their Christmas Eves, or whether it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you keep satisfying them sexually or giving them money or whatever the case is. But you're also silenced and you also have no opinion anymore. That's a huge win, is it not? What's interesting is that, keep this in mind, you're still in the relationship. That's a win for them. You're still in the relationship, but you're no more than just a shell of yourself. You're not even a real person. That's a win for them. They've stripped you away of everything that you are. That's a win in their zero-sum game. So that's only one win. But if you notice with this strategy, if you go back to what I said a moment ago, is that they make you out to be a bad person so that they can attack you. So them beating you down into you just becoming a shell of yourself that they can use and then shelve, that's only one possible win for them. But there's another possible win. Do you know what that is? The other possible win is if you do the opposite of shutting yourself down. You exaggerate the inner parts of you that you don't even like. Your own meanness, your own cruelty, your own reactive abuse, if you will. You lashing out. You saying, I'm not going to be talked to that way. So you develop that backbone and you stand up and you say, I'm going to take you on. I'll fight you. Oftentimes, it comes down to this in toxic relationships. It gets to the point through their selfish, self-serving, zero-sum game, arrogant, nasty attitude. It can get to the point to where the provocation, they provoke you to the point of fighting them back. This is the second way in which they win. You see, the zero-sum game of narcissistically abusive people is to prove that you're nothing, that you're no better than them, that you're nothing without them. So by beating you down and shelving you, they win because you're nothing without them. By lashing out and fighting with them, they win because you're no better than them. And then they're able to point at you and say, look at you. Look how mean you are. You're no better than me or anybody else. And now, if you have the backbone to fight with them, to fight back, you've justified their position. And everything they've said about you, everything they've said about you to other people, that you deserve their cruelty, it's justified. They won. They won by proving that you're no better than them. Do you see how they've strategized a way throughout their relationships to have a zero-sum game based on one strategy. The one strategy is to be aggressive, hostile, and violent. And they've allowed themselves various possibilities of winning, either beating you into serving them or causing you to lash out. How many of you have met narcissistically abusive people and you get to hear their stories about how they were once abused in this relationship and in the past relationship, the person they were dealing with was so mean and horrible to them? Yeah, well, guess what? When you lash out, when you become reactive, you're now that person that they are talking to everybody else about. You're now the person that abused them. They won. This is their zero-sum game, folks. One strategy, multiple ways of winning for them. This is why it becomes super important that the moment you realize that you're being provoked in a relationship, you get out. The only reason somebody would provoke you, whether it's family members or somebody who says they love you or friends or coworkers, the only reason is for one of two outcomes. Either one, to beat you down into serving them, to get you to submit, or to get you to react. So what do? Well, this is what I work very closely with people on. You don't play. You do not submit and do what they say. You do not silence your voice. But at the same time, you do not overreact to their provocation. Now, when you're dealing with family members, when you're dealing with somebody who says that they love you, this is very hard to do. So when this happens, you need to then question whether or not they are your family or not. Whether or not this love that you say that exists there is real or not. I can tell you right now that provocation has no part in love. Not at all. You're better. You're much better off redefining family for yourself. You're much better off redefining what love is for yourself and leaving the situation. Get out of the game. Because you can get stuck your entire life in this very stupid game with very stupid people. You're better than that. So the moment you realize you're being provoked, it's time to leave. Under the understanding, family does not provoke. Love does not provoke. Your victory comes when you change your family and you change your love. So that you can continue to be yourself, unprovoked and non-reactive, and stay out of these lame zero-sum games with idiots. Now, I know this message may come across as harsh, but it's super important. As I said before, I am here to support you. Down in the description box, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. So if you're in a relationship of any kind and you're being provoked into a zero-sum game, stop what you're doing. Don't write that letter yet. Don't try to reach out on phone. Don't try to do anything. Contact me first. Let's talk about it. Or consider joining the Royal We coaching program. I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We. If you're brand new to this channel, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any future Royal We videos that are aimed at helping you to not only heal from narcissistic abuse, but improve your life. Get out of the zero-sum games and step into your purpose and your calling and your passion. I'll be back with more videos right here on the Royal We.